West knows we're dealing with a climate crisis as a world. We're looking at, on the West Coast, where I'm from, we're looking at wildfires from California to Washington over to Colorado, whole communities of people being burned out of their homes. I've met people who have been evacuated from their homes, never to be able to return. I've met with firefighters who were fighting fires while their own homes were burning. My brother-in-law is a firefighter. We look at the Gulf states, neighbors to Texas. There have been 5 named storms this year alone. They name a storm because it's that bad. 5. The most recent one being Zeta. We're looking at what's been happening in the Midwest. Farmers losing a whole season of crops because of the floods. Joe Biden says, we need to embrace science. We need to speak truth. We need to deal with this with timelines and a sense of urgency because we need to be able to breathe clean air and drink clean water and see the connection between human behaviors and the crisis we are facing. Joe knows this is not only about what we need to do for our environment. The opportunity in the moment is we can also create jobs. We can invest in infrastructure, in renewable energies, in solar and wind, and that will be millions of jobs. Joe also knows this is an environmental justice issue. When you're looking at the fact that in all of the areas in the country that have poor air quality, 70% of the people who live in those places are people of color. Joe knows that. And he understands how we can build back better in a way that we deal with the science. We build up an infrastructure, we create millions of jobs, and we do it in a way that is about equitable outcomes. And we build back better. On the other hand, you have Donald Trump. Okay, so here's the thing. On the issue of the wildfires, he was interviewed, and the journalist said something like, these wildfires are happening in California, and scientists are saying that there's a connection between the extreme weather and the fires. And the President of the United States, the Commander-in-Chief, responded, "Science doesn't know." Literally rejecting the notion that we have so much evidence that is undisputed about what is upon us and the opportunity we have at the moment. So, Rio Grande, I say all this to say, there's a lot that we need to deal with. And these are many of the issues that are at play in this election. And Texas has been turning it out. You guys have been turning it out. You have been standing in line, you've been organizing, you are making a huge difference. And so here's the thing on voting. I think there are 3 reasons that people need to vote. People ask, why should I vote? Why is it important? There are 3 reasons, I think. 1, it's important to vote to honor the ancestors. Honor the ancestors. All those people who came before us, who fought for our right to vote. People like John Lewis, the congressman who passed away this year, who said, let's get in good trouble. John Lewis, who shed his blood on the Edmund Pettus Bridge for our right to vote. John Lewis, who knew this was a matter of civil rights and dignity. John Lewis, who understood that it was also a matter of civil rights and dignity to fight for same-sex marriage. John Lewis, who also knew it was a matter of civil rights and dignity to fight for protections for dreamers and for a pathway for citizenship. So, it's important to vote to honor the ancestors. You know, this year we celebrated the 19th Amendment, which allowed women to vote. We celebrated the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment. All those suffragettes who 100 years ago marched and fought for our right to vote. Now, it's important to remember history, because it wasn't until 1965 that Black women could vote, so we still have work to do. But it is time to vote to honor the ancestors. That's reason number one. Reason number two, everything is at stake. Everything is at stake. When this administration has orphaned 545 children because of a policy that has been about separating children from their parents at the border, everything is at stake. When we are looking at the fact that 200,000 of our frontline workers have been dreamers who were promised DACA protection, everything is at stake. Everything is at stake when we need to create a pathway towards citizenship. Everything is at stake when we talk about equal pay for equal work for women. Everything is at stake. So that's reason number two. And then here's reason number three. So I've been traveling the country, and I'll tell you, just like here in Texas, there are powerful people around our country that have been making it really difficult for people to vote. They've been passing laws. You know, in North Carolina, they passed a law that the court that reviewed the law said it was written with surgical precision to prevent Black people in North Carolina from voting. We have seen this around the country where laws have been put in place to make it difficult for people of color, for students, for our Native American brothers and sisters to vote. Laws like here in Texas where they're taking the drop boxes, where they're in other places where they're shutting down polling sites, where they're requiring people to fill out 2 different envelopes if their mail-in ballot is going to count. The president who took the debate stage and in front of 70 million Americans openly solicited a suppression of the vote. So we have to ask, why are so many powerful people trying to make it so difficult and confusing for us to vote? Why are they, for example, messing with the post office? I mean, the post office. Like, the nicest people work for the post office. Why are they doing this? And I believe it is because they know our power. They know our power. And we know our power. And we will not let anyone take our power from us. And that is the reason. That is the reason that we are all here today, to celebrate each other and to fight for this country we love. And so my last point is this. This moment will pass. It will pass. And one day in the future, our children, our grandchildren, others, they will look in our eyes, each one of us. They're going to look in our eyes and they will ask us, where were you at that moment? And what we are going to tell them is we were hanging out at UT Grande Valley this Friday afternoon on the last day of early voting. We will tell them we organized. We will tell them we brought people to vote. We will tell them we told them about what is at stake. We will tell them we reminded people of the ancestors and our responsibility and commitment to them. We will tell them that we elected Joe Biden, President of the United States.